So it's like, have I lost ambition? No, I haven't lost ambition. I've lost attachment to the ego identification of what ambition is. I've lost that completely. So you don't get lazy. In fact, you get more active. You get busier, than your resume gets bigger. You know, your list of accomplishments grows and grows and grows, but you're not attached to it any longer. There's no hanging on to it. There's no need for it. It's not. So you're living in process rather than outcome. You know, outcome is when you're doing what you're doing so that you'll get the accolades or the money or the rewards of some kind or the Emmy or whatever it is. You know, you get that. Whereas, you know, the great actors, they're not thinking about getting an Academy Award while they're doing the acting any more than Michael Jordan is thinking about, you know, getting above the rim when he's out there playing. You know, he's just in the moment, and perfected the business of being in the moment, and not attached to any of the stuff. And then when you ask him how he does what he does, he says, "I haven't got an idea. I have no idea," which is. When people ask me, how do I get in front of an audience and speak to an audience and keep them entertained and live, I don't know how to teach that. I can't teach that, you know, any more than you can teach filmmaking. A lot of people want to know about making the complete shift into meaning. A lot of it is about attachment and detaching yourself from the things that you used to think you absolutely had to have, and that the more you detach yourself, there's an old story told of two kittens, or a kitten and an old cat in the alley. Have you heard that story? And the kitten is in the alley, and he's chasing his tail, like you see kittens do, chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing. And the old cat looks at him and says, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm chasing after my tail." He said, "But why would you do that?" He said, "Well, I just returned from cat philosophy school, and in cat philosophy school, we learned that there are two things that are important for a cat. One is that happiness is the most important thing for a cat. And two, that happiness is located in my tail. So what I've discovered and decided to do is that I'm going to chase after it. And once I get a hold of it and get a grip on it, I'll have a lock on eternal happiness." And the old alley cat looks at him and says, "You know, I really haven't had a chance to go to philosophy school like you did. I've lived in the alleys most of my life." He said, "But it's amazing. I've discovered those same truths for me, that happiness is the most important thing in the world for a cat. And I've noticed that it is located in my tail." He said, "The only difference, I think, between you and I is that I've noticed that when I do go about my business and do the things that are really important to me, it follows after me wherever I go. It chases after you wherever you go." And that's really a very hard message for those of us who grew up in the ego-dominated, I have to get more, I have to get ahead of other people, I evaluate myself on the basis of my achievements and so on, to believe that something could chase after you, you know. And so the issue becomes, and I think this is a really significant part of this, of moving into meaning in your life, is when is it most likely that one of these quantum shifts is going to take place? When are you going to get this otherworldly message, or when are you going to get the wake-up call, the internal wake-up call, however it manifests? How's that going to show up? These quantum shifts can take, you know, like many different forms. I've asked people in audiences to come forward and give me examples of quantum moments, you know, in your life. And they range. I mean, they range from, I just had an insight, you know. It happened to me in a dream. I awoke from a dream, and it was just so real and so clear that this was it was a synchronistic event. I mean, I was thinking about this and all of that, and somebody came on television and they started talking about it, and I exactly knew. Another one, I get it on my radio show all the time. They'll hear me talking to somebody on my radio show about this, and just listening to another person, hearing another person's story and all of that, it triggers that kind of a thing. But what generally the transition is preceded by an awareness that I think everyone has. If you're really skillful at asking people about themselves, you can get it out of them that they know. They know that there's more to their life. They know that there is. I bet if I ask you about filmmaking and so on, you could probably go to something inside of you that maybe you were doing something else, delivering newspapers, who knows what the hell you were doing. And all of a sudden, it's like it began to hit. Maybe a film that you saw, maybe, you know, something, whatever. And and that's it. You know, you're hooked, and you're moving in that direction, and you know, and meaning now becomes like the dynamic or drawing force in your life. So your ambition now becomes to fulfill your dharma, to fulfill your destiny.